What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The Bungie update this week was pretty significant. While it may not have had the same sizzle and pop as previous updates, that doesn't mean it was any less impactful. The reason being, they did talk about some things that the community is both very concerned about and very aware of. Primarily, they discussed the infusion system and Masterwork Cores, as well as exotic engram drop rates. So, first and foremost, the Masterwork Cores. This is arguably the most hot topic right now when it comes to Destiny 2. A lot of people just do not have enough of these to maximize their weapons and armor. Maybe you just got into the game, maybe you took a pretty long break during year 1, but if you haven't played this game from start to finish since the game came out, you likely have nowhere near enough of these things to upgrade all of your weapons and armor. Not only are they needed to masterwork your gear, but they're also needed to, in many cases, when you're trying to infuse your gear and bump up the overall power and light level. So naturally that has been something that has irritated a lot of players, and rightfully so. Bungie in their update has acknowledged that there have been some misgivings with regards to the naming convention, and also to the overall drop rate for these is not where it needs to be. So what can you expect? Well, they're going to change the name of Masterwork Cores. They didn't list a name that they're going to call these, but the name should be more indicative of how they're being used and how you can get them. Likewise, they're going to implement new systems to get these more reliably. Now, outside of those two generalities, there isn't any concrete details about when you can expect these and what exactly that entails. I, for one, would like to see Masterwork Cores be obtainable via things that people are traditionally doing. So it could be a post-game reward in Crucible. It could be something you get at the end of a heroic strike. Maybe things like heroic public events have a chance of giving you Masterwork Cores. I'd also like to see things that players can do that will definitely reward them, such as a weekly bounty that you can pick up from Shaxx and Zavala. Those two things, I think, would allow people to get these at a much higher pace and not be behind the gun when it comes to wanting to upgrade their weapons and armor. There's no reason why somebody should have to use a piece of armor or a weapon that they don't want to use simply because it's higher light level and they don't have the requisite materials to infuse it. I think you're just penalizing players unnecessarily. So I, for one, am happy to see that they're addressing this issue. I do want to see more details about how you can get them, but I think it is a step in the right direction. In the meantime, though, until that update is fully implemented into the game, I would recommend pursuing any and all options when it comes to getting these. So I did make a video, I will link it in the description, about how you can use planetary materials to get more Masterwork Cores. Until we see the new system in place, I would use that method as much as you can, just to get ahead of the game and get yourself some cores in the meantime. The other thing that they talked about in their update surrounds exotic weapons and exotic engrams. Right now, the exotic engram drop rate, the exotic weapon drop rate, the armor drop rate is extremely low, and that is intentional. And on the surface, I have no issues with that. I think that exotics should be exciting to get. Everybody knows when they got their Galahorn, it's nice to have exotics be meaningful and impactful when you get them. The issue that I have, and the issue that they're resolving with their update, surrounds getting duplicate exotics. So right now, the only new weapons that I've gotten for Forsaken are the Ace of Spades and the Chaperone. Both of these were exotic quest lines, which is great, but I have no issues with that. My primary issue is all the other exotics I've gotten from engrams and post-game rewards and bounties and all those things have been ones that I've had already. So I think so far with Forsaken, I've gotten 3 more Vigilance Wings. I know I've gotten another Crimson Hand Cannon, and if I didn't have these weapons, I'd be ecstatic. But because I had those already, it is kind of a major letdown, a major bummer when you get an exotic, you see an exotic engram on the ground, and it's a piece of armor or a weapon that you've already had. So with their update, with the changes that they're making, they're not going to change the overall drop rate for these. They should be rare. They are rare. But what they're going to do is lessen the chance of getting one that you already have. So for me, for instance, if I hadn't gotten 3 more Vigilance Wings and another Crimson, then I would have gotten 4 brand new exotics and would have been ecstatic about that. So I like that they're not changing the overall drop rate. I like that they're making sure that when you do get one, it's one you don't have, so it has that excitement, it has that carrot on the end of the line there to keep you going. And I think it's a nice middle ground between handing these things out like candy, but also not making them so hard to get and so infrequent. And when you do get them, there's a good chance you already have it. So I think those changes are good. I like the changes that they're making to Masterwork Cores. I like what they're doing with exotics. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think this was a solid update. I do want to see a timetable, and as soon as there is one, I'll let people know. Most importantly, though, thanks for watching. We'll all catch up soon, and take care.